Good afternoon and welcome to another Tuesday tour. It's John Sautter and April Hollider behind the camera from your Purdue Alumni Association. And today we're bringing you a very exciting session from the west end of the Hall of Music, the entrance for the Purdue bands. And we're going to talk today about the marching band. And we're going to walk through the next 45 minutes or so as the band will begin to arrive, they'll begin to practice. They'll get in their formation and they're going to march down 3rd Street to the practice field. And we're going to bring you all the exciting moments along the way. Today we're going to talk about the history of the marching band, talk about some of their traditions, and all the things that have to come together for this organization. And I can tell you, university bands, and in particular the marching bands, redefines a well-oiled machine. All the things that have to come together for the group to do what they do is just incredible, and that's what we hope to capture for you in this video. So let's talk a little bit about bands. Bands actually started in 1886, just a few years after university was going, and basically it was a drum and bugle corps. In fact, I've got a picture of the first drum and bugle corps. This is 1896, which is when the band was kind of getting together and doing their thing. As a drum and bugle corps in support of mostly military kinds of things. But it really started taking shape shortly after that as Purdue's football team was starting to come together. In 1887, this was 1896, this is when they really had uniforms and that sort of thing. Back then it was not even as organized. But 1887 we had a football team, and so we needed a band to go with it. We really kind of went leaps and bounds when Spots Emmerich took over. Old Spots Emmerich right here. He took over in 1904. He actually played clarinet in the band. The other players liked him so much they said, "You ought to be our director," so they elected him director. And he was head of the bands for 50 years, 1904, 1954. Very innovative when it came to marching bands and what they do in the country. And we'll talk about a lot of the firsts that this band has done. There's 10 or 12 firsts for this particular marching band. We'll be kind of interspersing those along the way. So he was there till 1954. 1954, Al Wright took over. Al Wright is located right here from 54 to 1981. He continued also a lot of innovation along the way with our marching band. And it became an all-American marching band, one of the best bands in the land, as quoted by some CBS folks in one of the presentations many years ago during a football game, and they've kept that. And so the band has just continued to evolve to the organization it is today. It's 133 years old. This book that I have, as a matter of fact, celebrated 125 years. And if you are interested in the band, this is a book you really ought to have in your library. It's available from the University Press. And if you're really a follower of the bands, which I suspect you might be, they have a variety of CDs available. If you like the band music, playing, that sort of thing, that would be the route to go. I think I should have mentioned at the very beginning, this is a recording. It's obviously Friday afternoon. It is spitting rain, so we're doing our best to hang on here. But I'm thinking of the almost 400 students that are going to be showing up shortly that do this practice rain or shine, because it's game day tomorrow. Vanderbilt's in town. So you're actually going to be seeing this on Tuesday morning. So good morning if you're watching it then. Good afternoon from where we actually are. Classes will be changing very shortly. Pretty soon we're going to have musicians start to arrive to start practicing to get ready for what they have to do to be in the band. And that's because I should point out that the band has a very well put together handbook. In fact, this is the Marching Band Handbook. 26 pages, chock full of all the traditions and all the expectations of the students. So for a school that doesn't have a school of music, and the students get 2 credit hours for as much time as they put into it, obviously it's a labor of love. But within the handbook are all the variety of things that they must do, and one of the stipulations is, don't let the first note we play as we march to the field be your first note. So they're all expected to get here a little bit early and practice and that sort of thing. So they're going to arrive. We'll come back to you in just a few minutes and show you as they arrive. Then we'll be back after that as the band takes off for their practice today. So we'll see you shortly. Okay, we are back, and I'm glad to tell you it stopped spitting rain, and so we are all feeling a little bit better. But the excitement, I can tell you, is starting to grow. The percussion section is starting to form up over here, and April's going to pan around, and you're going to start to see and hear just all the variety of practices that are starting to go on by section and by part. They'll be tapping out the beats so they kind of get a feel for all the different songs. The excitement, you just can't help but get excited as you see all the pieces starting to come together in the puzzle here. And as April's painting, I told you I'd be talking about some of the firsts about this Purdue band. Let me just read some of those. In 1907, they were the first band to break military ranks to create a formation of any kind. That's when they formed the Block B. 1921, they were the first one to come up with the oversized bass drum that you're all familiar with. 1935, they were the first band to perform a halftime show with lights on their instruments and uniforms. 1954, some of you may know that date. That's the first year of our first Golden Girl. And we had our first Golden Girl because we had a Golden Boy, Lenny Dawson. But the first Golden Girl, which we still have today, but the first one was Juanita Carpenter. And we have her picture in here. This is Juanita Carpenter, our very first Golden Girl. And until recently, she was coming back for the alumni band reunions and that sort of thing. But going on, in 1963, they were the first band members to perform at Radio City Music Hall. 1995, they were the first university without a music school to win the Sudler Trophy. The Sudler Trophy basically is like the Heisman Trophy for bands and for a school that doesn't have a school of music. Did super. 2008, they were the first college marching band to be invited to perform in China. And 2010, more recently, first Big Ten band to ever march in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. And there's others also. But a very innovative band which continues to make a lot of firsts, make a lot of us happy as they're a part of all the sports programs now. I think I mentioned there's over a dozen, maybe closer to 20 different ensembles, including pep bands and all those sorts of things. But clearly this is the largest. Today is Friday before the football game, and so today is what they call Gold Day. So all the band members dress alike. They all have the gray shirts on today with the white ball caps to kind of be in unison, kind of bring them all together as they get ready for tomorrow's halftime show. So we're going to pause now and move across the street, and we'll be talking to you soon. Okay, welcome back, and now it's about 18 minutes after the hour. You can hear the percussion folks behind us. That gets everybody's attention for sure. So we're really getting close to start time now. Interesting drill they go through. So April and I are going to start walking to the starting point here as all the different groups are now arriving. Of course, classes are changing session, so the students are walking through. Just a very exciting time to be here and walking through a lot of these things. We'll walk across the street without getting run over. You can see the twirlers are starting to get together down here, the specialty twirlers. This way they go. And if you look down, you see the fellows in the orange jackets. That's crowd control. They're actually getting out to the intersections, getting ready for the band to come marching through. So a little bit farther. Hopefully you can hear me over the practice going on. So this is about where the drum majors are going to be any minute now as they get everybody assembled. So we'll pause now and we'll be back with you in just a few minutes. Okay, we're back. It's a little noisy here, but we grabbed one of the drum majors.
Hi!
This is Lucy Bays from Zionsville.
Correct.
And last year, lo and behold, you were playing the trombone.
I was, indeed.
And look at today. And here's Brendan Schultz from Michigan.
Hello, yes.
Good to have you back.
Hello, thank you.
We're looking forward to watching you march down the street.
Oh, yeah,
and you guys, I suspect this is a dream come true for both of you.
Yes, definitely.
And you survived what had to be quite a selection process.
It was indeed.
Is that it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, enjoy. We hope the rain stays away, and we'll see you out at the practice field.
Thank you. Yeah,
so
thank
far
you.
It's pretty sunny, I'd say.
Yeah.
I'd say, good. All right. Boiler up.
Boiler up.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
I got the answer for you, by the way. Hull Field, donated by Bob and Trudy Hull.
Bob and Trudy Hull.
Yeah, about 12 years ago. They paved over the field that was there.
And they both played in the band?
Yes, band alumni, yeah.
Super. Thank you. Good luck. Okay, we just heard the first whistle at precisely 3:27. At 3:30, everybody better be in formation. And so we'll be getting ready to march out to the field. It was so great that we were able to capture Lucy and Brendan. And they're right here. And they'll be giving a command to the band. And the command is going to be 10 hut. The band will respond chop ho. They'll say post music order, which are the 3 songs they'll be playing. The percussion brings them all together and off they go. And so that's what we'll be watching. Just a quick reminder, I'll have April pan to the right here. We can see the specialty twirlies that are coming together as the trumpeters walk by. We have the Golden Girl, of course, who leads the band. And behind her will be the girl in black. But then next this year, the special twirler, Miss Boilerette. They had so much talent in the tryouts that they wanted to have an additional twirler. So Miss Boilerette, followed by the Silver Twins, followed by the other specialty twirlers. So it's just an exciting time now as they kind of get ready, and we're going to turn back so we don't miss the specialty as they call them all together. You know, a reminder that they do the thrill on the hill before the games. They do something called the fountain concert after the games in front of Hovde Hall, and just a wide variety in addition to this. Their day starts very early. Tomorrow morning, about 3.5 hours before the game is when they're expected to report, and then the day is filled till after the game, probably 5 or 6 o'clock tomorrow night. So it's quite an involvement as they participate, and remember, they're getting 2 hours of credit for all this, and so clearly they enjoy what they do. Many are coming back. Here we go.
Boogie down! Boogie down! Vanderbilt fights on!
Here we go. As the sections come by, I can tell you, again, very organized. There are 10 people across from 1 to 10. The number 1 has responsibility, the number 10 has responsibility. And so everything, again, is a well-oiled machine as we're getting 389 people. Actually, there's more out to the field. There's more because they have something called game day staff. I'll tell you about that in a second. Game day staff, they anticipate out of 389, they're going to have folks who just can't make it for any number of reasons, including sickness. So they have people who will shadow other players. And game day staff were selected the morning of the game, and they actually fill in for these folks. Talk about dedication, hoping you get a spot. So game day staff, they have left nothing to chance in these well-orchestrated shows and practice. People on the drum staff, I may really do not have to be in the band. Any student is eligible to try out for the big bass drum crew. But it's a lot of physical activity and requirements. So we're going to stop here and catch up down the road. Okay, we're following the band out. We're having a hard time getting ahead of the crowd, but they're practicing their songs that we played during the game. Don't you know we're in the tuba section? But our driver's doing our best job of trying to get us ahead if we can. We'll try to catch you ahead of the band. Okay, we're right back with you now. We finally got ahead of the band. Hey there. Hello, hello. Miss Boilerette. Nice to see you. So we're ahead of the band as they're just arriving now at the practice field. And I want to point out this band and this formation, the practice that you see. In fact, April can get a good shot of the little kids who have come out to watch the band. It really does draw a crowd. In fact, if you're within 60 miles of the Purdue campus, some Friday afternoon you'd come and get the excitement of all this. But as they walk by, I want to point out that they've really marched in some pretty impressive places. In fact, here's a picture. Here's where they're marching in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade just a few years ago. One of the first Big Ten band to ever march in that. So, 389, including the game day staff, have now arrived at the practice field. This is called the Hall Practice Field. The Halls were in the marching band and had a generous donation to have these three beautiful towers and a nice practice area. We're going to go over there in just a minute and have a look at the different sections and the band as they arrive. So it's good to have them out here and get ready for practice. We'll talk to you in a minute. I'm walking. Okay, now we're walking through the concert formation. They're now in a, come on April, watch the bag. They're now in concert formation. This is a formation where they're starting to practice songs maybe for the next 2 or 3 shows. Because as soon as this game's over, they're on to the next show. And so after this then they get in, they'll start practicing actually tomorrow's show. Great spot to have a look at the All-American Marching sign they've got up here. Where they won the Sudler Trophy, all the variety of things. 1907 is when they formed the Block P the first time, and 1886 is when the band got started. So, and we can look at the field, get a nice close look at the field. You actually see the green dots. So they all have marks. So precisely where they need to be and how they get there, all those sorts of things. As we look this way, you can see the 3 towers they have. And actually behind the towers is Shreve Hall. So April, did you see this show from Shreve Hall?
Oh, probably a few times.
All right, I bet. This is where I first experienced this when I worked there. So just a great spot to be. Again, the excitement's building for tomorrow's game. We'll see you again in a minute or so. Okay, we're back. It's a little noisy out here on the practice field, but we want to highlight some of the specialty groups. So behind me are the Gold Dusters. Gold Dusters are getting ready for this game. It's kind of the dance corps for the team. Been with the band for years. In fact, I want to share a picture with you. This is when the Gold Dusters actually escorted Gene Cernan out to the field. And just to the right, holding his left hand, there's a cute Gold Duster. Lisa in North Carolina, we're thinking about you. We'll pan this way with the band behind. We'll look over and we'll see the specialty twirlers behind us getting ready. Further over, we have the flag corps getting ready. So all the sections are doing their thing, and pretty soon it'll all come together as a well-oiled machine for that football game tomorrow. So the band's out there. We're actually going to go up and have a closer look at the band. We'll talk to you there and conclude this particular video. Okay, we have caught up with the big bass drum, the largest bass drum in the world, right here. Famous bass drum that's been with the band for many years and has many famous stories behind it. A couple I can tell you. One is a lot of people have signed the bass drum. In fact, here's a picture of Harry Truman as he actually signs off on the bass drum. Another one, of course, is the most famous alumni to ever beat the bass drum, and that's our first man on the moon. There's Neil Armstrong, as he's actually beating the drum. He even played in the band many years ago. It's all a part of what they do. It's a part of the I Am an American that Roy Johnson made famous over the years. One of the special things that this crew does is that they do push-ups for every point that Purdue scores. So I can tell you in last year's Ohio State game, you may recall we scored 49 points. They did 197 push-ups for that game. So in fact, there's a great video about that game. It's called Take the Field. It's on YouTube. You ought to look it up. So we hope you've enjoyed. We hope you've heard most of this. April will put some closed captions on it. But it's been a very exciting experience for us to be filming the marching band. So until next time, hail Purdue, boiler up.